Man, I gotta say, I love how active Selene is. I really, really enjoy seeing how much Selene has been in this arc already. Like she's just been like present at every point, and even when she's not like around where the characters are, she's watching. And even the parts where we don't pan over to her, we know now that she is watching. So at all times, she's just getting her preparations, her schemes going, and I've really taken a liking to her character. I really like her design. I like that she doesn't have actually some crazy goal, which is really surprising. I figured she would have some form of like religious view or something, some form of psychotic kind of aspect vision around the moon. But it looks like she just really likes the moon, and I'm wondering if that's just a common thing for moon dragons. Like, do they all have this much of an affection for the moon? Because none of the other dragons have had that kind of like very much further almost admiration, like near obsession for whatever their attribute is. And definitely, moon dragon is different than something like a fire dragon. But I don't know, it's just a very odd choice, but it makes sense and I like it a lot. So the chapter starts out like as we saw in the last chapter, the characters, they were defeated. Like it was very obvious they were defeated by the the members of the Moonlit Beauty Gods. And I'm very curious if these are the only ones. We're only gonna have these three. And if it's just the three, then I swear Mimi has to have a good power. It can't be something just being super strength. It has to be something of a much higher caliber. But the chapter itself, it was a really, really good setup chapter. Because I actually didn't notice when the fan transit came out. It was like almost an hour ago. And I was like, man, I gotta get ready for sleep. Because usually my reviews on 100 Years Quest chapters are like a half hour. I don't think it'll be that long. I'm guessing this one will only be somewhere around maybe 20 minutes because we got like the most of the part of the chapter that was on Selene. Like that was really good. I really liked just seeing for the like again character exposition for Selene because it's not like we had like a big detailed backstory or we had some form of like really deeper self-reflecting moment where it was like, oh man, she's got something going on. It was no, we saw that she is just this very, very like vain and lustful person, but it's like way more towards her own pleasure in total. It's not just the base idea of lust. Like she just has this idea of always being at this luxurious state of being. It's really weird. She has her, some of her servants dry her off, put her clothes on for her, get her ready to talk to the main cast. Well, Natsu and Gray, but she even has Gray had his shirt off already. I mean, well, he would have his shirt off in reality. Like it's not like Gray with his shirt on is something that we really have to see like him go through the process of taking it off. Like how many times have we seen Gray just shirt off in the next scene? But it's funny just because of the fact that we know that's just Gray. We know that's Gray. Like, it wouldn't surprise you if somehow, while being frozen, his shirt came off. But, maybe that's the sign of secretly when the reveal of how he wasn't going to he wasn't going to end up defeating Okune. It's like he hadn't taken his shirt off. So it's like, well, he's going to lose that shirt if he doesn't, if he takes it off. He's not going to get it back. He's going to have to steal someone else's. But Selene having them tied up and like just kind of hanging out while she takes her bath, and then having all of these members of her crew just feast and have fun around them. She's odd, but I like her a lot. She has, again, this very high-tier boss position, and it's not just on the fact that she's extremely powerful. She has that personality. She has this mindset of just she can do whatever she wants, and her goal is to do whatever she wants. And what she wants is just, again, relax, luxuriousness. Is that a word, luxuriousness? I know. The luxury of just this life she's in. And as she said, she really likes looking at the moon because at Black Moon Mountain, she said the moon doesn't wane or wax. Like, it's always just in its normal state. And from there, you just get characters just having fun. Like, it's weird to see the villains having a like a festive moment. They're not being vile or evil or it's like some way more sadistic or horrific thing. Because she said that she doesn't really care about, as the idea of good guy or bad guy, because Natsu Natsu straight up asked her, because when she's talking to him, he's like, oh, I'm not really after ending the world or anything like that. I just kind of want entertainment. But she is willing to sacrifice anything for her entertainment and her joy. Like she says, as long as I enjoy myself, what does it matter if a world or two gets sullied or distorted? So, she does not care how many people have to fall in order for her to get just back to a spot like this, where she gets to take nice baths 3 times a day, have people make her food, bring her whatever she wants, take care of her, and she can just be in utter relaxation. And at the same time, she is a dragon. Like, she's in this form, but we know that she is a dragon. She is a much higher class of species just from that existence, being a very rare one, and then being one of the top tiers of the rare ones. But yeah, Selene, I can't wait to find out more about her, because though I do really like seeing this side to her, where again, it doesn't need like some big crazy grand scale plot, but I do want to know more about her specifically. Like, I want to know what's her take on stuff like acnologia, because all of the dragon gods obviously have experienced acnologia, either firsthand, like Alderaan, or, the idea of him, the fear of him, and something like what Ignia went through. But Selene's just weird, because I feel like Selene would kind of like him, because she just would watch stuff going on from Elentier and then see acnologia go on his rampage. Like, she's probably perfectly cool with it. As long as he doesn't find out a way over there, then I don't really see her having much of a worry on that. But then we have like the Hakune's. Hakune's been like feeling up Gray. Mimi's like seems pretty interested in Natsu and Gray's bodies. I'm wondering if her thing is she just likes people with like these very pristine builds. She would love Laxus. Like, she just would see this jack dude, like 6'4", a badass, and just probably fall in love. But since she had to fight Kiri, it's actually kind of funny though if you had that between those two characters, just 2 antagonists fighting out of nowhere over someone like that. I think that would actually be a little bit of a refresher, and it makes me wonder again, what are the roles of the Dragon Eaters be? Because we know they're on their way. We just don't know exactly like when or how, but we know that they're charging towards the vicinity. I guess not charging, but they are in a very goal-orientated haste. So now we're just gonna, again, further fun, just partying going on with Selene and her crew. She's just enjoying herself, just trying to live her life, and then after a point where she's just like, all right, no more kind of partying and fun. Now we're going to have more of an action entertainment fun. Like, she's just ready to see these guys fight, ready to go, like, brawl, and sends them to what'd she call it? It was let's see, Onigatsuki, which is Moon of Demons. I'm very curious whether or not that's actually going to be in some form of moon, like just in the name of it, because she should be able to, if she wanted to, teleport people to moons, or it could just be underground in a cool name. I'm just wondering, because I feel like the name is pretty, like, could be actually very literal, but at the same time, it's like she says that they're gonna climb up, but maybe there's a portal, who knows. Either way, like, I'm just hyped in general to see them in this position, in this weird space. And Selene having locations to send people makes a lot of sense. And I've already really liked a lot of stuff about her, so her getting a trait for both personality and her powers is really cool, because if you could teleport people wherever you wanted, obviously at some point, regardless if you're just kind of teleporting someone to get away, you can teleport people offensively. Like, imagine it, like, in real life, if you could teleport somebody, it's like, besides teleporting them, like, off a bridge or something, you could teleport them inside of a lion's cage at a zoo or something, inside of their enclosure. But obviously this is, much higher degree and a much higher crazy power level type of fiction. But you know what I mean? To eventually be able just to use that teleporting ability to just to screw with your opponents, send them somewhere that's really dangerous. It'd be like sending somebody the inside of a volcano. It's like, you yourself aren't doing the damage, but that volcano sure might. But Natsu's going up against, like, a bunch of these yokai, throwing punches, just doing his thing, knocking all these fodder ones down. I'm curious if there's a hierarchy for the yokai, because the ones that Urza fought obviously looked way more powerful in this. Like, if Natsu was in Fire Dragon King mode or something high level, him one-shotting these guys when Urza couldn't, it'd be like, okay, sure, because Natsu is, like, in his high tiers abilities, and all his, like, big upper stuff is above what Urza can do. I mean, that's just where he's at right now after Alvarez. But he's giving the guys the hands. He's working these dudes down, smashing every single yokai that comes in their way. And then a tail you see slithering around. And out from the darkness, you have like a Lamia looking thing. But what Selene says, it's a Nuraona, which I believe in the Japanese folklore. Yeah, it says in there, wet woman, a man-eating serpent. So there's a couple things just about this last part. Because, again, for the most part, it was like we got Selene exposition. We just got to see Selene's personality. We got another demonstration of her powers. And, man, the fact that she was able to casually mess with the moon is crazy. Again, it's just such a big boss tier move to be able to do something that extravagant at such little effort. But now that we have Lucy in this weird state, I'm wondering what exactly the plan is going to be from, moving forward, because she is going to be either somehow dispelled or maybe come back to her senses. But at the same time, I'm curious to know if it's related to the power that Ferris had, because Ferris was able to, when she would, like, wipe people out, she could take control of them, have, like, a mind control thing. I'm guessing that's going on with Lucy. Because even in the idea, if you just shapeshifted Lucy, did something to give her part snake body, she herself obviously wouldn't turn on Natsu, so there has to be some mental stuff involved as well. And it would make sense, because Ferris, once Selene betrayed her, like, having her release Alderaan and then just being like, all right, nope, see ya, and Ferris wasn't able to use that, like, ability to control the members of Fairy Tail anymore. And I'm guessing that Selene, that power that Ferris was using was from Selene. And that's what's going on with Lucy. And at the same time, this means, in the next chapter, we'll probably see Gray. Gray probably fighting a couple fodder yokai, but also fighting Juvia. And that is going to be really, really hype. So these battles are weird. I'm curious to know, besides, like, the ship version of it, like, what Mishima is going to do with, say, Urza and Wendy. But on top of that, like, what is his plan going to be going beyond that? Because we're in such a weird spot outright. Like, they clearly right now don't have the means to fight Selene. We know that none of them are Dragon God level yet, even if effort fully combined aren't up to that level. Like, Alderaan was something completely different, because you have to understand how his powers work with the Lacrima versus, like, someone Selene just seems to be in general, or say Merphobia or something. There's a mechanic to Alderaan to make him weak enough for, obviously, the level of Natsu to defeat with his Dragon Force. Still really impressive. It was Dragon Force, and Natsu was already a very high position character within the world of Fairy Tail. He's a very powerful guy. So having that plus Dragon Force, like, it just makes sense of why he would, be able to do what he could do. So the Lucy stuff, again, is very, very intriguing. I really want to know what exactly I almost said Tabata, Mishima has this, like, aiming for, because we know that they all have, like, some form of upgrade in Elentier, and I'm surprised we're not getting that. Maybe that's what Natsu's going to unlock soon, and we'll see Natsu and Gray use whatever their Elentier, like, boosted abilities are. But this was a really fast read, I'm not going to lie. Like, usually I don't read through Fairy Tail this fast. This is definitely one of the fastest chapters I can remember. Like, it's not like it's some long dragged out chapter. There's a million things of text, and it's not like most chapters are. I feel is short. I think it's because we got a good chunk where there wasn't a lot of dialogue. Because, like, one of the pages where it's like Selene is just like, all right, now it's time. Most of that is just the girls having fun. They're just partying up, enjoying themselves. Natsu and Gray are just getting pissed off, but I'm curious to know who's gonna fight Urza or Wendy. Like, are they gonna be in there? I kind of would prefer it if Urza went towards Gray and Wendy went to Natsu. I would really like to see a fight of, like, some form, obviously a yokai boosted Dragon Slayer Wendy against Natsu. Like, obviously Natsu himself is, he's not gonna struggle against Wendy from the point of being, like, if he was actually gonna fight her, but we know that he's not gonna want to hurt her. So that'll be a weird one, but I imagine they would at least, like, scrap. Like, Natsu, when I say, like, Natsu wouldn't hurt her, I mean, like, he probably, like, he's not just gonna outright hit her or do anything mean, but that I really doubt, like, in total, because Wendy, like, if Wendy went up to Natsu and asked to like spar or train, he's gonna be fine with it. He's not gonna like probably break her bones or anything, but he's gonna put in the effort. And he knows that Wendy has that same position that Natsu has to Laxus, where Natsu looks up to Laxus almost like an older brother. Wendy looks up to Natsu kind of like an older brother role. But yeah, Selene already, like, I really like her. I definitely really enjoy Selene. And as we've been going, the Dragon Gods have been getting so much better and so much more done in an odd direction. Like Mersolvia, the one that wants to be redeemed. He's trying to live a better life. He's just trying to help everybody he can. Igna, who's like this rebellious son who's extremely dangerous, this flying mass of destruction and scales. Alderaan, who's a malefic kind of tyrant who just wants to consume and grow. He doesn't care about who he's killing. He just looks at it as nutrients. Whereas Selene is just like, she's playful, she's fun, she's a bit witty. She's already had like the most showings for her power. Well, I say she's the most showings, but Alderaan really does have the God Seeds, and each of those are sort of part of his powers. So that definitely counts. Outside of that, like I said, like the chapter wasn't all that long. Like there wasn't a ton that happened outside of, setup and then talking about Selene. And again, I'm happy to talk about Selene. I think I'm just going to be super stoked about her every single time we see her. And she's definitely one of those characters, like someone like Margear, who even long after Margear is gone, I still really like his character, and he still sits way high up on my list. Like, he's one of my favorite characters in the whole series. And I feel like Selene is going to be like that too. So, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this. Like, for the most part, it was just, like I said, we got Selene Expedition. We found a little bit more about her character. We saw some of the really nice panels of her. I really liked this one with that close-up of her lips, and she's got those tiny, scary eyes. She looks very intimidating, just this panel. And like, if I spent Selene in her life outside of her height, I wouldn't be that threatened by her, because she looks physically, and like her face, she looks like she'd be just really nice. You'd expect her just to be like a weird priestess or something. She's got a little bit of that religious moon aspect to her, so it would make sense. But at the end of the day, she is very powerful, and she is pretty damn scary, like, for real. So, yeah, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this chapter, and tell me your thoughts about what's to come up. I definitely have some good ideas for the next up-and-coming chapter, because we do get some context. Last time I did one, it was really weird, because, like, the strangeness was the fact that we didn't really have anything to go off, because we were new in Ellentir. We don't know a whole lot about it. We don't know who else is if they're even here yet, like the Dragon Eaters, or if there's somebody that's going to somehow find a way to get in, whether they open their own portal, or Selene brings them in. That's what I'm hoping she does. I'm hoping she starts picking people up from Earthline and bringing them over. But yeah. So, tell me what your thoughts are about this chapter, and tell me what your thoughts are about Selene specifically, because I really, so far, have enjoyed her. And, we haven't even got to the bigger portions of her character. We're only just at the starting point. Like, this chapter really is, in terms of Selene, is seeing the first glimpses of who she is, rather than, like, before, where we just get, peers over and she says something about what's going on, just makes a comment, or, when we saw her come over to Edelus, like, that was still pretty cool, but for the most part, we don't see her do a whole lot. But we obviously came into this knowing she's hype. She's, people have liked her since her appearance was shown. And on top of that, like, she's got her own dimension. Like, she's just badass and cool. So, she lives in rent-free right now. That's all I gotta say. So anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, hit the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody's subscribe, and thank you all for listening. Bye.